Good morning. Welcome to what's new and coming for branding and organizing your SharePoint sites. My name is Melissa Torres, and my co-presenter for today is Denise Trebona. We both work for the SharePoint Experiences team. Today, Denise and I will be walking you through how you'll be able to make your modern SharePoint experiences look like this. Isn't this exciting? Come on, yeah! A big applause! Don't these modern branded SharePoint experience sites look beautiful? Yeah. As we continue to modernize our SharePoint experiences, we know how important it is for customers like yourselves to be able to first reflect your brand and voice through color palette, to fonts, to page designs on a site for all sites in your organization to a specific set of sites. And talking about a specific set of sites, second, to organize your sites, to be able to apply not just the brand on a set of sites, but also to apply controls and policies and help your employees find related content. This is exactly what we'll be talking about today. Now, this session will focus on the modern SharePoint experiences. If you're interested in branding of classic experiences, you can go and visit the session we did last year. We have a little box there that you can see for the session. Highly recommend that, but we will be primarily focusing on our new experiences. So with that, I'm going to move it over to Denise, who's going to do our branding and theming.
Thanks, Melissa, and thank you everyone for coming. This is great to see such fantastic turnout. As a designer, this is a topic that is near and dear to my heart, and I am very excited to show it to you and excited you guys are here to learn about it. So with that, let's dig in. We've heard a lot from customers about branding and theming and how important it is to their intranets. And I wanted to start with just talking about what are some of the elements involved when we talk about brand and brand identity and reflecting that in your intranet. So first, there are logos. And these are one of the primary ways to represent a brand. And logos serve as those really instantly identifiable signifiers and signposts. And at the highest level, there's your organization's logo. But from there, organizations can differ quite a bit in how they organize themselves and quite a bit in how they brand. And some may have product divisions. You may have regional divisions. You may have functional divisions like manufacturing or sales. Or you may have branding at the product level. And so there can be a lot of a need for multiple tiers of branding and reflecting those. And we've heard from customers that can be challenging in their intranet. And so we hope we're going to be able to help a bit with that. After logos, there are other elements in the toolbox that help convey an organization's brand. And these typically include palette and font or type, grid, and structured layouts or content, which we've also heard from customers is very important. For a lot of companies, there's also illustration, photography, and for some companies, even sound and motion. So this differs depending on your organization, but let's talk next about the role these elements play in your intranet. So when these are consistently applied, brand elements work to reinforce your brand. And that consistency gives confidence to everyone who interacts with your intranet. So that might be your organization's employees, but that could extend to vendors or external partners as well. And so, it gives people confidence that they're in the official, genuine home of your organization. And as I said, it also gives them clues if they're in the right place for what they need to do. So these brand elements also play a role in creating content that's authoritative and cohesive. They give a strong and unified presentation of your company or your organization. So let's talk about in what ways SharePoint will help you brand your intranet. Today we'll address the following elements from the toolbox I was just talking about earlier. Logos, navigation, which helps create that content organization, theming, for our purposes today, that's going to be largely comprised of color and font, which we heard was very important to you. and page designs, which would be the unique ways your organization structures content. And we'll also talk a bit about how some of this can be packaged up and applied automatically via site designs. And we'll also talk about how themes can be extended to custom elements that you might be adding to your SharePoint pages and sites. Okay, so from there, let's dig in to logos and navigation. So here we have 3 levels of branding and navigation. At the top level, we have your organization brand. In this case, Contoso Travel. So this is a graphic logo that can be linked to the site of your choosing. For many companies, including Microsoft, this goes to their company intranet homepage, or also known as your company portal. There's a background color that you can set to match your organization's branding, whatever way you would like to do that. All those things can be set in the Office 365 Admin Center and exist right now. Next, we have the hub logo and nav, which is new, and we're going to spend quite a bit of time talking about hubs today. But here, there's also the option to have a graphic logo, or you can go with text only to indicate the name of the hub. So like the Office nav bar above it, you also have the option for a background color here. And you can set up the navigation for your hub. And I'll point out that you can see the last navigation item in this row where it says associated sites. You've got a little caret there to indicate a drop down, and you can go 2 levels deep in the drop down there, which Melissa's going to show you later. I just wanted to mention these items can either be set by the hub site owner, or in some cases it may make more sense to be set by the admin. So those are both options. In the third tier here, you'll see some elements that are probably already somewhat familiar to you. This is your site logo, your site name, and your site navigation. And that site logo can come about in one of 3 ways. If you don't set anything there, we'll auto-generate some initials for you, which you may have seen. The site owner can set a custom logo there, or in some cases that might be an admin-controlled space. The next thing I wanted to point out about that is just in the navigation. So this is a navigation from a communication site. You can see that that's a horizontal navigation. And of course, in team sites, we also have the option for a left nav as well. All right, and so just to give you another look at what that might look like applied with Microsoft branding, I've got an Xbox example for you here, and you can see Microsoft at the top, Xbox as our hub, logo, and navigation, and then our games development team as our site example. Okay, so from there, let's start talking about theming. I'm going to talk about 3 capabilities in theming today. Out-of-the-box themes, custom themes that you can get to from Change the Look, and then also custom themes that you can provision during site creation. So first, I'm going to talk a bit about out-of-the-box theming. And I want to begin with some background. I want to talk a little bit about what informed our direction. So we conducted several research activities to gather input and feedback on what's important in terms of theming. These are some of those activities that I'm talking about. And customers told us several really interesting things. The first thing we learned is that color, font, and layout are paramount. These are the top 3 things that people think about when they think about what makes up the brand of their intranet, beyond the logos that we just looked at. The next thing that people told us was really important is that this content was polished and professional in its presentation. Third, it was that themes be easy to apply and repeat. This would include easy to choose the right theme in a situation where choices were available, or even in some cases have the theme automatically applied, and we'll talk more about that. And then finally here, we heard that consistent application of theme is really at the foundation of all these concerns for people in terms of branding and theming, and this really sort of drives that desire to, have the right themes in place for site owners to choose, or even designate those themes on behalf of site owners. And so from there, we took that information, we took that feedback, and we developed a set of pillars to guide our theming features around. And the first pillar I want to talk about is professional. So it's really important that all of the themes kind of accrue to being modern, professional, organized, and clean looking. It should be on par with what can be seen in the consumer site builder space, but tuned to the needs of the enterprise, which brings me to my next point here, which is showcasing enterprise content. So I consider this one absolutely core to all the site designs and web parts that we create in SharePoint. Not all enterprise content is beautiful photography from the marketing team, although you'll see a lot of that here this week in a lot of our comps. But sometimes it's a lot of words or numbers, legal matters, charts, graphs, and we're always striving to make sure all types of content that are created in your enterprise look great in SharePoint sites and pages, and theming should support that too. The last point here is about flexibility with regard to reflecting an industry or a vertical. So a gaming company is likely to have very different look and feel from, say, an insurance company or a healthcare company, and we want to make sure that themes are flexible enough to support those needs in terms of a different look and feel. So the second pillar we think about is on Rails. So we talked about consistency is of key importance. And to support that consistency, themes will need options for being admin controlled. Employees will need some options for flexibility, but on Rails means the options are managed, while employees still have enough flexibility to make their content look great. On Rails also means that admins will be able to curate themes at whatever scope they need. So in some cases, that might mean one theme for your entire company. In others, it might mean by division or department, like the Xbox example we were looking at earlier, or a theme might be restricted to a small set of sites. Maybe it's for a project, or even one site where special theming is needed. Maybe that's the CEO corner or a leadership team site. So we want to also provide a lot of flexibility there in terms of that scoping. The third pillar we focused on was efficient and smart. Here, we will support theme selection in the Change the Look panel for a site, as I'll show you here in a minute, but we will also provide a way for admins to ensure a site gets the right theme applied right when the site is provisioned or created. And I also want to point out, theming applies to all modern site types. So that's both communication sites and collaboration sites or team sites, as you may know them. And of course, theming will apply and appear in our mobile web and our native SharePoint mobile apps as well, without any additional work on your part. Our fourth pillar here is accessible. So SharePoint has done a lot of work in recent years to make our product more accessible, more inclusive, and designed for everyone. Our out-of-the-box themes meet all requirements for contrast ratio, meaning they are tuned to ensure that text and background colors are legible and have high contrast, whether the background is light or dark. So not only are our out-of-the-box themes accessible, but we will also provide you with guidance on how to make your custom themes accessible. So from there, let me do a demo and show you how out-of-the-box themes work. Okay, so you can see I'm here at Contoso Travel and the Give campaign site at Contoso Travel. And I'm going to go to the upper right of the screen and click on the gear, and I'll get a menu. And at the bottom of the menu, you'll see Change the Look. And you'll see I get a Change the Look panel over on the right-hand side, and I've got a set of out-of-the-box themes there are 6 light themes and 2 dark themes. And we're going to take a look at some of these themes. And during this demo, I'll just point out to you that when I'm talking about primary colors, you'll see that change in this box here. And when I'm talking about accent colors, you'll see that change in this lower left box down next to the larger headline. And so as I click around, you'll see that I get an instant preview of these color changes, all in real time. And I love how fast this is. Our team has done an amazing job making sure that this is available and visible to you. And whatever page you're on, you're seeing how this theme impacts your site right away. So I'll also show you one of our dark themes. Down here, our dark yellow theme. That's a big change. But you can see some of what I was talking about earlier with how the text colors change appropriately for this dark background. However, the dark yellow and black theme probably isn't appropriate for my giving site or my Contoso travel brand. So I'm going to switch back to red. And that looks pretty nice, but I think I'd like to go and customize it a bit. So I'm going to click on that Customize link and go to the next panel in Change the Look, where I see a set of 12 primary colors. I'm going to click around on these for a minute, and you can see as I click around, I've now got both colors, my primary color in the large box and my accent color in the small box are matching. So, thanks. You guys are great. And down here, I've got accent colors, and these accent colors change. My options for accent colors change down below as I change primary colors. So these are coordinated to go together, depending on the colors you pick, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about those in a second. But for my purposes here, I think I'm going to choose the red primary color and the orange accent color. So these are nice and warm together. So let's save that combination. All right, so I'm going to stop there, switch back. And let me just recap what we just saw. So we've got, out of the box, great accessible themes. We've got 6 light themes, 2 dark themes. And with the color combinations I showed you, you can customize to any of 120 color combinations at this present time. Oh, thanks. You guys are so awesome. All right, so let me talk a little bit more about the colors themselves that we picked. This is inevitably a question I get. Colors are subjective. Why did you guys pick those colors? I don't like those colors. So I'm going to take a minute to explain that here. We started out choosing from an accessible color palette. So all the colors here are chosen to make sure that they either work with white text on top or black text on top to keep the contrast between the text and the background high. When we use the color in the page, we designed to ensure it's used in the right combination. And for example, as I pointed out a minute ago with the black and yellow theme I showed earlier, we don't use white text on top of yellow when it's used for the background, only black text. And we've got some smarts in the system that are making sure that those color changes happen appropriately. So I'll just give a shout out here at the bottom of this screen if you want to learn more about accessibility. There is a lot to learn. Goes beyond just the contrast ratio piece that I'm talking about. I'd recommend that you go to Ben and Anita's session this afternoon at 4:30, and we'll have this information again at the end of the presentation. So out of this set, we selected 5 warm colors, 5 cool colors, and 2 neutrals, just to ensure a broad selection across the spectrum there. So that gives us 12 primary colors for the light themes. We also have 6 different primary colors for our black theme and 6 different primary colors for the navy theme that I showed earlier in the Change the Look panel. So from there, we chose accent colors. And we chose those to match with each of those primary colors I was just talking about. And we picked those using relationships on the color wheel, which are all the colors arranged in that rainbow formation. So first we picked 2 analogous colors, or neighboring colors, to that primary color. And then we chose a complementary color, which is the color on the opposite side of the color wheel. And finally, a neutral, which provides a little bit of a quieter option in the set if you don't want so much color, but you still want to have a little bit of depth or dimension in the page. Okay, so from there, just wanted to say what I just demoed was still in progress, and thus there are a few more things coming soon to the Change the Look panel that I want to highlight for you. First is support for custom themes that represent your brand, and you can see from the picture here, those will be featured up at the top of the panel and set apart from the rest and labeled as your organization's themes. Below that, you can see the SharePoint themes are grouped all together, but these themes can be removed from the panel if you prefer to feature only your company's themes. Okay, so next I'm going to move on to custom theming. And I want to return to the example sites that Melissa showed at the beginning of the session. Here we have our Northwind Traders construction company. And you can see that there's a moderate level of information density on the page, but overall this is still a pretty visual page. There's a liberal use of bold color, in this case a dark theme, which might be appropriate depending on your industry. We've had some customers give us feedback that they work in low light settings, or they have team members who work in low light settings like manufacturing. And we've also had feedback that, hey, we're in the video gaming industry, we need really that pop of color and something bright and bold. We also have full bleed edge-to-edge backgrounds across this page to use that color very boldly, like I was talking about. And we also feature custom fonts. In the second example, Tailspin Toys, you can see that we can get a very different look out of the page. There's a much lighter density of information. There's highly visual content, just a few pieces of it. Softer color palettes, so we've got theme colored text and accents, and then we've got tinted section backgrounds, and that gives us that overall lighter look and feel while still applying lots of color, but it doesn't feel nearly as heavy and bold as the previous. In this example, we're also using custom fonts. And in the third example, we've got a much higher density of information. We've got a lot of detailed and data-rich content. So here we've used color in the left nav, and we've used color very sparingly throughout the rest of the page so that that higher information density can still really speak, and the color isn't getting in the way there. And also here too, across the set, we are using custom fonts. So this is the kind of flexibility and variety that we're excited to bring you as we develop modern theming in SharePoint. We're just at the beginning of this journey, but we're very, very excited about where it's headed. And with that, I'm going to show you a custom theme applied to an existing site from the Change the Look panel. Oh. If I switch the monitor. Okay, so here I'm going to pop over to a new site from the HR team, Blue Yonder Benefits. So Contoso Travel has just acquired Blue Yonder Airlines, which will continue to operate under its own brand, but join the Contoso Travel family. So the HR team is creating that set of benefit sites and with information specific to Blue Yonder employees. And in our example, they're going to choose a Blue Yonder theme to apply to that site to convey that Blue Yonder look and feel. All right, so let's take a look. I'm going to go back under the gear and choose Change the Look. And for the purposes of this demo, we have stored some custom themes down here. And you can see I have a Blue Yonder theme. And pow, there you go. It is that easy. It's like the shortest demo ever. And so I'm going to save that, and I'm done. All right, so just to recap there, we have that support for custom themes that are unique to your brand. Great looking, accessible custom themes. We'll help you out with guidance for that. And also the ability to disable those out-of-the-box themes is coming as well. So I'm going to give a quick look at just a glimpse of the custom theme builder tool that Sean Squires showcased in his talk yesterday. You can find that at our Fabric website. This helps generate the JSON theme file that gets uploaded to the gallery that then gets uploaded or appears in the Change the Look panel. And more capabilities like custom font will be added to this tool over time. And at the bottom of the slide, you'll see I've got a call out for Sean's session. That was actually yesterday, so I do encourage you to go back and check out the video for that. And next, I'm going to talk about page designs and themes with site designs and extensibility. Okay, so first I want to talk about page design. So that refers to the content structure that our customers noted as kind of that third important thing in conveying their organization's brand. These are the layouts of content and web parts that are unique to your organization. Here we've wireframed some of the SharePoint out-of-the-box page designs just to show how these content structures can vary from one another. If you want to learn more about designing great-looking pages, I'd encourage you to check out Sohail and Alyssa's session, which is just after this one, I think, at 12:30 today. And they'll be really showing you, hey, how do I create great-looking pages with multiple columns and lots of interesting web parts and sections. But what I'm going to be focused on here is how do you reuse these? So if you make these and you want to be able to include them as part of that brand, how do you do that? And so you do that by putting these page design content structures and also the themes that we've just been discussing and other capabilities into a site design. So site designs are a way to package up custom configurations and apply them during site creation. And so right now in site creation, you can choose from out-of-the-box site design options. But by creating your own site designs, you can add your own custom site creation options. And this allows you to get all the right customizations when you want to have them right from the time the site is created. So just really just hands the whole thing on a platter to your site owners or employees. It's super fast and easy for them and provides that on-rails approach that we talked about earlier for your brand. So for more detail on site designs, I'll again refer you to Sean's highly rated breakout session, 3354. But right now, let's take a look at site design running during site creation. Okay. So this is another short and easy one. I'm at SharePoint Home. I'm going to hit the Create Site button up here at the top. You'll see that I have two options to create a team site or a communication site. I'm going to choose a communication site. And over here on the left-hand side, I can choose a design. And you'll see in this drop-down menu, I have a Blue Yonder campaign site option available to me. So I'm going to give that site a name. Oh, thank you. I'm going to call this Blue Yonder 401k. Capitalize Blue Yonder. Transition benefits. All right. So I'm going to click Finish. And you're going to see that as this site is created, a couple of things are going to happen, because this is a site design that Sean made, and it applies a couple other things during provisioning, so some lists as well as a flow. And then at the bottom, you'll see it applies the Blue Yonder theme. And so when I click Finish, there you go. And it's really great. I mean, I am so impressed with the team because this is so fast and easy for a user to just get exactly all the right stuff from the get-go. So let me switch back here. I think we just did the demo. And just to recap, so custom themes and more can be applied during provisioning, things like lists, flows, other custom actions, the page designs and the themes. And those can all be set via a site design. So the next piece I want to touch on is briefly is extensibility. So there are some elements that come into your SharePoint pages via other means. In this example on the upper right, I'm showing an embedded Power App form. And we have plans so for that theme file to be something that the Power Apps team or any other team can take and use to theme their extensions or embeds. And so without this, you would see that Power App form probably was just default, white and blue. But with the theme file, it'll be able to match the rest of the site. And so you can have a very cohesive, very consistent, very coordinated look. And you can also see that with the example down here in front. We have a custom themed web part. We've used our events web part to show what that might look like. And this is coming soon in the upcoming months as part of the work with the theme builder tool that Sean talked about a little bit yesterday. And so in closing, there's a couple of resources I want to point you to help you make great themes and design great web parts. So toward helping you better understand and design for customizing SharePoint, this week we're launching our first set of content and articles around design guidance for SharePoint. This content is created to help you customize SharePoint and take advantage of themes, make your web parts responsive so they look great on mobile, which is really important. And also, we'll soon have content about creating accessible designs and content for your pages. So this is our first set of content here, and it's something our customers have been asking for, so we really look forward to hearing your feedback on what topics you'd like to see us cover next. Please feel free to give us that feedback. And then last, I want to also highlight our Fabric design documentation. So the Fabric's our official front-end framework for building experiences that fit seamlessly into SharePoint and all of Office and Office 365. There's tons of helpful resources here for code and common components and styling, and I urge you to check it out. And Peter John has a breakout session today at 4:30. I think that's session 3227, and I would also encourage you to go to that if you'd like to learn more about Fabric. And so with that, I will turn it over to Melissa to talk about hub sites. Thank you.
Thanks, Denise. So Denise showed you how you can, the new theming capabilities that you can apply custom themes on one site and how you can apply them to all net new sites through the site creation flow using site designs. I'm going to show you how you can do it on a set of sites. When we released SharePoint Home, we introduced a new site creation experience, guiding your employees toward creating new site collections with a single root web. We did this to make it easier for people to create sites, as well as enable integration with Office 365 groups, bringing together calendaring and conversations from Outlook, tasks from Planner, files and content from SharePoint. But we know that many customers, like many of you, want the ability to organize these sites, organize them into groupings that make sense to you, that make it easier for your employees to discover related content, but enables you to apply common controls like navigation, branding, which Denise just talked about, and admin policies. The solution we've announced this week for this is SharePoint Hub Sites. The ability to group related site collections together into what we call hubs. SharePoint Hub Sites enables you to link related team sites and communication sites together based on project, department, division, region, what best fits your organization. And in doing so, helps your organization work more productively across any number of sites. Now let's kind of break it down to see what's in them. First, a communication destination in its own right to surface all that goodness of shared content, hub content, that we call a hub site. An aggregated bottoms-up view of content, news, and activity across all the sites in the hub, showcasing all the work the members are contributing to. Ability to search across all the sites within the hub, Previously, we supported search at the site level or across the entire organization. A top-down point of control for hub owners to require common elements such as navigation and a consistent look and feel across the set of sites. So now that I've talked about it, let me jump into a demo and show you how you'll be able to associate a site to a hub. So I'm going to jump back to the Give at Contoso site that Denise just was showing us before. And I'm part of the Human Resources Department, and I built this site with Denise to have our employees, help my other fellow employees in Human Resources discover what this year's giving campaign opportunities are. But now, I kind of want to make it more findable, more discoverable by the rest of the org. So I want to join it to a hub. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'll go to the gear menu here in the top nav, and I'll open site information. And once I do that, you will see this new dropdown called Hub Site. And if I expand it, I can see the list of hubs that I can join. Now pick Work at Contoso. Work at Contoso is the name we use internally for our Human Resources Department. Now, before I click Save, I want you to notice two things. First, the only navigation on this site is the horizontal site nav. Second, this current theme that's kind of the primary red and the orange that Denise did an awesome job selecting, like she said, feels really warm, feels really great, but guess what? This needs to be part of the greater whole, so I'm going to get rid of it. So I'm going to click Save and wait for it. Bam! Yeah! Get excited, people. Two things happened. First, look at the top underneath the suite nav. You'll see a brand new hub nav, which also referred to as a cross-site navigation bar. It contains the logo representing the hub, like Denise talked about, the name of the hub, as well as different nodes. That supports all up to 3 levels. Very exciting. And you'll notice the theme changed as well. And again, because I joined the Human Resources, now this site looks like all the others. So if I switch back, these are other sites that are part of the same hub, then you can see have that consistent look and feel throughout. They all have the nav, and they all have the same theme. And as you can notice here, it's not limited to just communication sites, it's team sites as well. When a site joins a hub, we call that an associated site. Associating a site to a hub is site owner controlled. So the site owner does it. It's available in the site information panel, just like I showed, but we also plan to add it to the site creation experience. And we'll eventually provide the admin's control to be able to do it through PowerShell and eventually through the new modern admin experience. Associating sites works on all site templates, even Classic, which I'm very excited. But you'll want to have modern pages to get the full experience. So you'll want to groupify, like you heard yesterday, and then hubify. Come on, that's kind of cute, right? So associating a site is limited to just one hub. Once the site is associated, like I showed you, it gets the shared nav, the hub nav, and displays on all modern pages, and it's only editable by the hub owner, and I'll show you what that looks like pretty soon. To get geeky for a moment, how this works behind the scenes is we've added a new property, site collection property, that gets tagged with the hub that this site pertains to. So not only does that root site collection get that association, any subsites underneath get it as well. So I showed you how to associate a site to a hub. Let me now demo to you what it looks like when where it's getting that information, where it's getting that nav and theme from. So let's take a look at the hub site. So back at the Give and Contoso, and I want to navigate my way to the hub site. And it's really simple. So up here where the logo is, if you see it when I hover over, both of them are active links. So I'll click on Work at Contoso. And when I do that, boom, I'm right there now at the hub site. So let's do a walkthrough of what the hub site contains. First, the same nav you saw before, so you can see exactly the same, which we're very excited. Again, that consistency. You'll also notice the theme. Here's kind of the buttons where you kind of really can take advantage of that color. And now you'll see in the middle of the page, we have news. And this is a different type of news from the other type of news you have. This is hub news. And what that means is, if you can see this second article right here, this article is actually coming from a site called Benefits Planning that is associated to the hub. Just like the next article is coming from another site called Live at Contoso. So Hub News rolls up. This is where we get all the roll-up goodness of Hub sites, front and center. The Hub site is the home for all that shared content, and Hub News is reflecting that here. So quickly, I can easily say, hey, this news post sounds super interesting. I want to know more about benefits planning, and I can quickly click on it. Navigate to that site, and again, now I have access to everything, and I can see what that site is about, and when I want to go back, super simple for me to navigate back as well. And this is just the starting point for news. We definitely want to have other configuration options to give the hub owner control of, such as selecting specific sites that you want to roll up. Right now, this is set up to roll up all of them, but we want to give you that control, as well as adding sites that are outside the hub, and eventually we're considering even going across hubs. Now, if I scroll down, you'll see the events and resources. Now, the events and resources are same as the hub nav on top. They will be curated by you. When we talked to customers and did research on what hub sites could be, we found that a lot of existing sites that provide the same function tend to have these web parts. So we went sure as part of our site that we provided that as well. Now, not displaying here because we have a bug, but I was prepared, so I have it on this page, is the sites web part. That's right. And so what this is you want to be able to take a look at all the sites that are part of the hub, and we put it front and center. And what this will do is help your employees discover other related sites within your hub. And here's the thing. It's not just the sites by themselves. That we follow the model from SharePoint Home, and the sites actually show up different tidbits of activities from what's going on inside those hubs, inside those sites. So again, you could really see, hey, is this site something that I'm interested in? And maybe by looking at who's doing what inside, you'll get a sense of what it's about and click on it. And the see all affordance to the side would take you to the full list of all the sites for the hub. So something I'm very excited about. Yeah. Okay. So I showed you news, I showed you sites, what's next? Well, I did mention search, so let's take a quick look at that. And we don't have this fully hooked up yet, but I hope you guys get the intent. And so what I'm showing here is the current sites, a site search results page, and you can see that now it's scoped down to just the sites in the hub. So these are just the sites from that, and here's the list of files. Again, scoping down search to something that is more relevant so that you don't have to be searching across all your content in the organization. Thank you. And I don't know if any of you saw the announcements earlier this week for the new search experience. It works there too. So here is the new search experience that Katrina and Naomi showed. And I guess it's, oh, I had it open, but you guys get the point. It actually, again, it's scoped down to the specific, here it is. All the content, whether you switch from sites or you switch from files, is again scoped down to the particular hub. So we're still working on building out the hub site. So the picture on this slide really shows the direction we are headed. To recap, roll-up of news, sites, and activity will enable your employees to discover relevant content around them. Search will provide more relevant results that are scoped down. We also envision adding a new site creation, create site affordance on the page so that your employees can easily create sites directly that are joined to the hub. You'll still be able to do it from SharePoint Home, of course, but just to just to do it quicker, you'll be able to do it if you know what hub you particularly want to create it in. Now, I've shown you how to associate a site to a hub and how you navigate from that site to the hub site and what the hub site is made of. But the first step starts with creating the hub. So let's talk about that. While modern team sites and communication sites are self-service by default, in other words, anybody in your organization can create them, hubs will not be. Hubs will only be created by SharePoint admins. The reasoning is that admins are really in the best position to know the best way to organize sites. In addition, the proliferation of too many hubs would devalue them. When creating the hub, SharePoint admins will be able to scope down the hub so only a set of people see the right list of hubs. For example, I showed the work at Contoso hub. I belong to the human resources, so I should see it. If Denise didn't belong to that org, she shouldn't be able to see it or select it. Now, we also will be adding an approval process in the future. And what this will do is you might have a hub that says, hey, it's open to everybody, but I get to decide whether I'll let you in or not. And so that gives you that 2 levels of control to control who ends up belonging to your hub. Finally, hubs don't nest. It's a limitation for now that we will explore in the future. So how are hubs actually created? When we first roll this out, they'll be created, because they're created by SharePoint admins, they'll be created through PowerShell and eventually through the SharePoint admin experience. When you create a hub, you basically define what site will become the home for that hub. And so I'm about to show you how that looks. So let's go into a hub site and set it up. Okay. So for the purposes of this demo, like I mentioned, the SharePoint admin has already created the hub for me, and it's going to be called the EMEA Sales Hub. And so the moment that they create the hub and they basically list out the site that will become the home for the hub, it enables hub site features on this site. And the way you know that is you ultimately see the hub nav on top with the edit affordance, so you can navigate that, and I'll show you a couple more things. So now let's go ahead and set the hub site up. There's a couple of things that are involved with that. First, they're setting up the hub nav. Let's set up the nodes, the logo, make sure the name is the one we want to use. Let's set up the home page, and then let's set up the theme. So we'll start with the nav. So same as any other site navigation today, you'll be able to click on Edit, which will open up the link affordance, and I'll be able to do this and add a link. Now, to save us time, I have some trusty links here for us to use. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that and call this news, because I want all my folks to be able to quickly get to the news from the hub for the hub news. I have a site that I created called Customer Connections, so I'm going to go ahead and call that here. Boom. And I have another one for Customer Event Planning. Boom. Exciting, right? I bet you all love to create links. I personally do. You click Save, and boom, right there, the nodes are created. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, Melissa, but what about the logo? Well, if I go back to the trusty Site Gears menu, you'll notice that there's now a new entry called Hub Site Information. And I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And Hub Site Information is the place where you go and set the properties and settings for the hub. Right now, what we're displaying is my ability to set the logo for the hub and rename the hub. So I'm going to go, when I started, I said that the actual hub site name should be EMEA Sales, so I'm going to update that. Now, before I click Save on this, we envision this growing up to be far more than what it currently is. We want to do things like adding settings for, is the theme enforced? Does this hub require approval process to join? Like, you know, what's the scoping? Who should see this hub? And all that we'll be able to control through here. So we're very excited about that, or I'm very excited about that. So now I'll click Save. And just like that, the sales, EMEA sales is updated and the nav is there, and that's all looking great. So I have my hub navs all set up and ready to go. So now I'm going to change my home page. Now this is, I started with a simple communication site, and there's this home page, and I'm going to go ahead, and we don't have this fully hooked up yet, but it's fine because this is how it's going to work anyway. And once I make it a home page, I'll be able to go there. Man, site designs really want to be showcased everywhere. So now I'm here at the hub site homepage, and again, I have that news roll-up web part, but since I just created this hub, obviously it's not populated yet. And I have the news, and I have the events, and the resources, and all that good stuff. My last step is to select a theme. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the gear menu, and do change the look that Denise showcased before. And well, when I started, I said, hey, we want to be able to apply to a set of sites. So there's this Contoso sales custom theme that got created for sales. So I'm going to go ahead and use that and click Save. And now my site has that theme. So just like that, I've set up the nav with the navigation nodes that I wanted. I could have spent more time building that out. I set up the logo, the name, the theme, and the home page. What's left to do? Well, I'll tell you, to join it and see how that works. So just right there, I'll go to this customer event planning, which is an awesome site. And again, I'll go site information. Let's try that again. Let's kind of do refresh. Oh. Well, I guess that site today doesn't want to join. Let's try that again. Oh, there we are. That worked. So I'll go back to the gear, site information. That was fast. And EMEA sales, right there, the update that I made before. Click on that. Click on Save. And boom. Come on, get excited, people. That easy. So while just standing here on stage, I was able to quickly set up the hub site, set up the nav, set up the nav with the notes, the logo, the name, set up my home page that we kind of provide you with already, set up the theme, and join a site really quickly. So it's super easy to create. But wait, there's more. I know, right? Now, I know for some of you SharePoint gurus out there, there's a question that's burning inside of you. And the question is, well, that's all great, that nav, but does it work with managed metadata? Well, do you guys don't have that question? Okay, thank you. Somebody there does. So, guess what? It does. And I have a demo of it. So let's show you that. Now, just in case you're not familiar with managed metadata, it lets you kind of define and maintain your site navigation using term sets. It's a pretty popular feature, I believe. And it's really about not having it be based on where it is, at the location. So it leaves you that set of control. But anyway, so I'm going to jump over to this research and development site. And this nav right here, my friends, this is connected to the term store. So this is actually a term set that I'm using to have, so this is directly coming from that. So here it is working with managed metadata. And yeah, thank you. I expect the guy who's over there to be screaming excitedly. So I have here Applied Research, which is another site that I want to join. And I know I've shown you this now. This will be like the third time. But I'm so excited about it that guess what? You're going to see it again. So I'm going to open the site setting, the gear settings. You guys can probably just rally this out for me. Site information. Here's the research and development. I click save. That's right. Boom! It's there. And again, all this connected to the management metadata from that site. So very exciting. I'm personally very excited. Oh, sorry about that. OK. So recap. So to recap, any site can become a hub site. We recommend any site can become a hub site. That includes team sites. I showed you how to do it on a communication site. Because communication sites are kind of meant for that kind of more broader communication. But ultimately, it's up to you. Like I mentioned, at first, it'll be done through PowerShell, but eventually supported through the SharePoint Admin Center. It is, like I mentioned, a SharePoint admin-led action, not an end-user-led action. And I kind of walk through the reasons for that. We've added the hub site information panel to make it really easy for hub site owners to manage properties and settings of the hub. You saw there the logo, the name of the hub, and we envision things like settings for requiring enforcement, who should be able to access and see this hub and join this hub, whether this hub requires access, request access to join. Finally, the hub site is the place where you set up the hub nav, also known as cross-site navigation, from uploading a logo to represents your hub site to curating up to 3 level nodes. And like I demoed, it works with managed metadata. Yay! Now, the reality is that we live in a very dynamic world where things are constantly changing. So we need to ensure the solutions we build and deliver can adapt to those changes, and quickly, too. So a site that one day belongs to one hub, the next day belongs to another. So I'm going to show you how we made that very simple with SharePoint hub sites. So I'm back at the Give at Contoso. This is the site that started our entire journey from Denise's presentation to now. And like I mentioned earlier, this site belongs to the human resources. But guess what? Let's pretend for a moment that something happened, and all of a sudden they decided the giving campaign should be run out of the EMEA sales organization. So I'm like, OK, how do I do that? Well, quite simple, actually. So you'll be able to go again here, site information, I know, and work at Contoso, pick EMEA sales, and just like that, bam! Yeah! Come on, that's pretty awesome, right? Couple things happened. You'll notice that now I'm getting the nav from EMEA sales, the theme from EMEA sales, but guess what? Now the content, the news, the list of sites, search will include results now from the giving campaign site. So again, really helping you manage your ever-changing intranet. Oh, let me switch back. Sorry. OK. So as you guys know, one of SharePoint's product principles is that all our experiences work in mobile, and that includes SharePoint hub sites. Once we roll this feature, you can start creating hub sites, and you'll start seeing the cross-site navigation display in mobile as well. Let me show you. So right now on the screen, you're showing the benefits, which is an associated site. And I'll be able to, or you'll be able to, open the site navigation. And once you do that, all the way at the top, you can see the Contoso Travel HR. Well, that's the hub. So once I click on that, now you get, oh, that went by too fast. Let me kind of play that again. Once you do that, now you see, thank you. I don't know who it was, but thank you. Now, once you see that, you see the navigation for the Contoso Travel HR. That's the hub. That's the hub site where we're getting everything. So now I'm going to go there. So I click, and now I'm in the Contoso Travel HR hub. So that site nav, that hub nav, cross-site navigation is built in natively into mobile, which I think is super great. And it's super easy for me, again, to, if I want to go back, click that trusty site nav, back there to Contoso Travel HR. There's a link right there to the benefits site, and then back where I started. So, SharePoint hub sites organize your intranet. They support today's dynamic teams and organizations by letting you change association of sites. It's easy, like I showed, to reorg your intranet as your organization changes. So we have now modern team sites, communication sites, and now hub sites, the building blocks you need to create your own award-winning mobile and intelligent intranet. So to kind of finish this off, let's do a quick summary of everything we showed you today. Denise, do you want to do a recap on the branding piece?
I'll do branding, yeah. So we talked today about 3 tiers of logos and navigation that will be available for you. We talked about theming that is professional in its presentation, on Rails, so managed and curated by you and your brand team as necessary. Efficient and smart for site owners to get the right theme, or for you to make sure that the right themes are provisioned right during site creation. And also that those themes are accessible. We also looked at page designs, which provide the unique content structure and layout that we've heard that you need to also reflect your organization and your brand and your structure. And then finally, we also looked at page designs and theming and how they can be part of a site design and applied during site creation along with a variety of other rich tools and configurations.
Cool. And we also looked at hub sites, of course. Again, it's all about relating, being able to relate sites together that fit into something that is a grouping of related content, rolling up of news and activity, that shared nav, the shared theme that goes across and unites them all. Search that is scoped down to just the sites in the hub. And finally, admins create it, but site owners adapt and get to use it. Denise, you want to go over the roadmap?
Yeah, so this week, the central gallery to host custom themes for the entire organization is available. Also, the PowerShell commands to manage and hide the out-of-the-box themes from SharePoint if you've made custom themes for your organization and you only want to be showing those and change the look. And then also the custom theme builder tool, which I showed a glimpse of earlier. Later in 2017, we will be releasing the accent colors that I showed today, and also the other updates to the change the look panel that I showed today. And then early first half of 2018, we'll be getting out hopefully the section and header background colors that I showed today. It's very exciting. And we'll be adding support for custom fonts and also all of the SharePoint hub site goodness that Melissa just talked about.
Yeah! I'm very excited. I know I've said it like 20 times, but I'll keep saying it. So Denise kind of already did a call out where you can learn some more of this, but I just want to do a quick call out for some of them. For beautiful page designs, I highly recommend at 12:30 going to Sohail and Alyssa's session. There's the information you need for that. At 4:30 today, there are 2 awesome sessions. The first is all about accessibility with Anita and Ben, and the other is about fabric, which is awesome too with Peter, if that's correct. Denise mentioned it a couple times, but Sean Squires gave an amazing talk yesterday that kind of walks you through how to create the site designs and how to upload your custom themes and how to disable the out-of-the-box themes. So if you want to look at that, make sure you kind of find that video. It's a great watch. Did I cover all of them? I think I did, right?
I think you did. Last one was Karim's.
Oh, and of course, Denise showed extensibility of theming with Power Apps, and so Karim's session will talk, I'm sure they'll talk about that as well there. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for coming, and that's it for us.
Thank you.